There! The camera person.
I am a ghost.
Jodi and I landed in Delhi at 2:30 in the morning, not knowing one soul in all of India. Pretty darn scared, but quickly meeting our first new friends.
A cloud ganj in the Himalayas. Since when we first landed, we both had backpacks and 2 suitcases full of tools to help fix things, while sadly stepping over poor folks sleeping on the cold streets, many without even a blanket. As we stumbled about, we were surrounded by gangs of guys sizing us up. A helpful guy sent us to an alleged government tourist agency who charged us 4 times what the 12-hour ride should cost. Beat and scared, we said yes.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. You see, once upon a time, Jodi and I went to northern India to help the poor kids with the support of 2 exceptionally successful and wonderful gentlemen. It all got started when a retired judge named Bill Bristol and his friend Mr. Dutch wanted to interview us about HAfunland. During the interview, Mr. Dutch asked, "If you had enough money, what dream would you do?" I blurted out, "We had a dream for years about going to help the poor kids in India." Mr. Dutch said, "Draw me up a proposal and maybe I can help." Wowee! Well, after recovering from shock, we prepared a proposal and he asked us, "How much do you need?" And the rest is history, thanks to the very generous Mr. Dutch. But who exactly is Mr. John Dutch Summers? Well, he started off poor in his dad's tiny garage running a machine shop. He amazingly leveraged it into 17 corporations all around the globe. The equivalent of climbing Mount Everest blindfolded and without an oxygen tank. Jodi laid across the back seat and fell into a deep sleep for about 6 hours. I stayed awake since the cabbie was dozing off at times, and I would have to literally shake his arm to wake him up. We finally arrived at dark and of course got ripped off again for a room. But we were so ready to sleep. The next day we checked into an Ayurvedic Panchakarma clinic for the world's most intense detox. While there, we attempted to find where the most need was. Frankly, we didn't receive much help from most of the groups we contacted. We also hiked to the top of the Trione, an absolutely awesome experience.
Trione! We made it. Old goat made it.
Young goat.
Old goat, young goat. Oh man.
A real bright spot during the trying times was the Radha Krishna Cafe in Dharamcote, with the owner Kuldeep and his fine family. Luckily, we learned of 3 orphanages to check out.
The first 2 were well funded, so we settled on helping Bal Ashram in Saliana. The kids there were absolutely awesome. We would wake up, eat breakfast with them, and walk them to school. Then we would put our contractor's hats on and go to work. It was disgusting to see the warden of the Bal Ashram polishing his expensive new Royal Enfield motorcycle, as the place absolutely went to ruins. Obviously, charity money was not reaching the needs. We fixed countless windows, painted many dingy rooms, and bought all the kids' shoes, and most needed a backpack for their school books.
In addition, we bought a monster bag of peanuts, which would take a small elephant to lift. Every night we'd watch TV with the happy kids chomping down peanuts. For recess, we bought a soccer ball, tons of badminton stuff, and jump ropes. Frankly, recess almost killed us, chasing around nearly 50 kids.
We were having the greatest times of our lives playing mom and dad, feeling on top of the world when the groundskeeper hauled off and smacked the littlest boy twice in the back of the head. I jumped up and said to the caretaker, "Why was that boy struck?" And the caretaker said with a devilish grin, "No hit, no hit." And she saw it happen.
So later that day, we asked the kids to please tell us if any kids ever got hit by the staff. Well, sadly, walking to school one morning, one boy opened up and told Jeff that the caretaker beats the little boys often for many things, like not finishing their plate, chewing too fast, or chewing too slow. And one by one, the other boys backed up the first kid's account.
First, we tried to keep the scandal in-house and went to the vice chairman in charge of the Rotary facility. After 2 meetings, no luck. So we went over his head to the chairman. After 2 meetings, there also no luck. So we went to the Friday night Rotary meeting, in which we almost always attended. And we were treated very well and loved all the guys there. We told them what was up. They all were very concerned and formed a 4-person investigative committee that was scheduled to come out on Sunday.
One of the fine gentlemen of the Rotary called and said they would arrive in 20 minutes. Unfortunately, none of them arrived, and we were instead grilled by the General Secretary of the Rotary, who said twice that the caretaker and warden, husband and wife team, would never hit children. Jeff asked him what the purpose of the meeting was, and he said, to evict you both. So after over a month of getting to know and love all the wonderful kids, we were thrown out and didn't even have a chance to say goodbye and give the poor kids a reason why we were being evicted. Many tears, to say the least, from us, and certainly many more from all the kids.
We proceeded to wage a full-scale battle trying to get the abusers removed. We went to the local newspaper, and they phoned one Rotary gentleman and said, "No one will be spared."
Probably nervous, quiet, angry kids
Yep.
in the dining room, brightly, freshly painted,
Exactly.
yellow dining room, and
Right.
they're all sad.
Exactly. Sadly, they're sad. They get out of the institution and they start lighting right up.
That really got our hopes up. The chief investigative reporter said, "I wish you would have asked me before going to Bal Ashram. I would have told you don't go there, for there's much corruption, pocketing donation money and other donated items. Unfortunately, no story was ever put in print by them." We also contacted 2 nationwide human rights organizations and filed reports and prayed like crazy for the kids to be liberated. So we then went to the top cop in the state, called the Superintendent of Police. The SP for short. Was an intelligent, rough, tough gentleman. A no-nonsense, get-things-done guy, and he said that this is a very serious allegation. In time, his word was gold, and he followed up with an investigation.
However, a cook friend still inside the Bal Ashram said that they were threatening to fire him and throw him, his wife, and kids out into the streets. The cook also said the kids are no longer allowed to talk to him and are being intimidated into silence. So when the police questioned the cook and kids, sadly no one was brave enough to talk.
In the end, the corruption was covered up, and the abusive husband and wife kept on, since we feel they could blow the whistle on the alleged higher-ups pocketing much of the donated funds. Exhausted after trying everything we could, we sadly cried over the fate of all those wonderful children. We will love you kids always. While buying supplies at a hardware store in Palampur, we ran into Dr. Singh Sudhi, who is known by locals as Singh is King. He graciously gave us a personal tour of his developing hydroelectric project. Dr. Singh sought his fortunes in America years ago in the computer industry and made it big. He was back in India reaching his hand back and lifting many folks up. He was also very concerned about our whole planet heating up and was doing something about it.
Currently, this is 1000 kilowatt, like 1 megawatt capacity powerhouse, but we have a plan to expand it to 4.5 megawatts.
Well, we had 2 weeks to go before flying home and shifted gears and hired a teacher to instruct in computers and English at 2 poor government schools for the rest of the year.
अभी चटाई तुम चालो
together. See if that one's, if it's too short, pass it to shorter.
Look. Go.
She has a good swing.
She has a cute swing.
Whoa, good. We also painted a classroom and installed a much-needed safety fence. For after buying recess stuff, 5 boys jumped down from an 8-foot bank onto the roadway while chasing a soccer ball. My heart dropped to my feet as I yelled, "No!" as they jumped. Now they can't leap out of the schoolyard into danger. Excellent. Good. Say something, Jeff.
With a sad heart, we headed by taxi to Delhi to fly home. We had tried our absolute best and prayed for all of the Bal Ashram kids we loved so very much. En route, we passed a migrant camp along the river in Dharamsala. It was a transformative, life-changing experience as we filmed the black plastic tent slum. A family waved so nicely, smiling at us as we filmed, and it moved our hearts forever. We had learned a very hard lesson: don't connect your star to an existing school, and decided to work hard getting funds to start an evening school for during the day. If the kids are strong enough to carry a brick, they are put to work.
Life is an endless cycle. One door closes and another one opens, with great possibilities of making a difference.